Hey guys, I just want to tell you what I've been going through for the sake of helping other people who go through the same thing, because it's bullshit. It's bullshit what I'm going through right now. It's bullshit what my wife is going through right now, and I feel like more people should know about this. Okay, so I've been taking my wife in to get an ultrasound regularly. We've been doing regular checkups, just basically, being considerate of the pregnancy and watching everything develop as it develops. We keep seeing a high-risk person, a person who specializes in high-risk pregnancies, for Down syndrome specifically is what they keep harassing us about. And I say harassing because it's so ridiculous why they're paying so much attention to this risk. First of all, the idea of somebody who's the father being in their 20s and the mother being very young, 18. The idea of them having a Down syndrome baby alone is highly unlikely. It's just like you just don't expect it to happen. You say, maybe if you're in your 40s or something, you have a higher chance, but not so young. It's rare. It can happen, but it's rare. So that alone makes you think probably not going to happen. Then those people take a test and it comes up extremely negative. Extremely negative. Like the highest possible negative you could get, we got in this Down syndrome test. So we're like, okay, we're young and there's no way our baby could be Down syndrome, right? No. Our baby ingested some blood, right? But they didn't ask us if our baby ingested some blood, and they ingested some blood because there was some bleeding. Too much information, I know, but it has to be said in order for you to understand the situation. There was some bleeding from the uterine sac going against the wall, blah, blah, blah. It happens in pregnancy sometimes, but everything's fine. Anyway, so the baby ingested blood, but the doctor doesn't, or the doctor, the high-risk specialist, didn't ask if there was bleeding. They just came in going, your baby might have Down syndrome. And it's like, did you even ask, like, what was going on before you said our baby might have Down syndrome? No, you didn't. And so I told them, what's been going on with the bleeding and the uterine sac and the uterus and everything. And they're like, oh, well, that probably explains it. I'm like, oh, yeah. Maybe you should have asked before you said our baby probably has Down syndrome, because then maybe we wouldn't have to experience fear. And let me tell you why these doctors want to tell you that your baby might have Down syndrome. If you look this up, there's this thing called, what is it called?
Amniocentesis.
An amniocentesis. It's a test that costs $900. Gee whiz, that's cheap. Not. To stick a needle in your uterus so they can know for sure if your baby has Down syndrome. It's not a free test, obviously. It's not like they don't have incentive to do this test on you. So they're coming in here telling us of this risk, and it's like we have a 1 in 10,000 chance that the baby has Down syndrome at that time, because there was this light area in the baby's stomach, and it was obviously blood. As it's passed now, our baby's fine. There's no blood anymore, because it is as I predicted, not as they predicted, but I predicted that the blood would pass. I'm like, well, if it's blood, it'll just go away. And they're like, well, yeah, but we might still want to do the test. I'm like, no, we're not going to stick a needle in the uterus of my child's mother just so you guys can, be sure. I don't need peace of mind. I don't need to be sure about this. I already am pretty confident that our baby's healthy. Anyway, so they are a little offended that I don't want to puncture the uterus of my wife. That's what it is, right? Uterus? They don't want to puncture the uterus of my wife, which has a 1 in 1,000 chance of killing the baby.
1 in 400 chance.
1 in 400 chance of killing the baby. They want me to do a test that is more likely to kill my child than my child has in a chance of having Down. It's just stupid. And they want me to pay them $900 on top of that. This is insanity, right? So I said no. And we went back again today. Guess what happens? Well, they barely mentioned that the blood is gone now, that it passed and the baby's fine. Now they're focusing on the kidneys. They're like, well, it's so stupid and corrupt. This is why I'm making this video, because other people should know about this corruption. They're like, well, now you have 2 soft signs. I think they call it soft because it's basically soft is another way of saying complete bullshit signs that your child has Down syndrome. And I said, well, wouldn't you know by now, because the baby's so far developed, that they have Down syndrome based on the shape of their skeleton. Their neck is supposed to be thicker for some people who have Down syndrome, and their nasal cavity and everything's supposed to be different. And she's like, no, Down syndrome babies look the same. That's not what I heard. That's not what, based on the information I've looked up. So it's It's ridiculous that they want to continue to pursue this. But again, they want to put another needle in her. I'm like, I actually stopped. I was so pissed off. I was like, okay, let me just ask you, why are you telling us this? Why are you telling us that this slight kidney irregularity is another soft sign of Down syndrome? When the blood passed through, they're saying there's 2 soft signs. The first soft sign is gone. We tested really negative for Down syndrome, yet there's still a soft sign. So they upped our chances from 1 in 10,000 to 1 in 1,000 now. And they say, and I was like, why are you telling us? And she's like, well, it's ethical to tell you. Well, this is the only thing you're telling us about risks. What are the risks that our baby's going to be a stillborn? Are you telling us about those risks? No, because there's no profit in it for you. You can't make money from that. There's no test that you just stick a needle in and test if he's going to be stillborn. No, so you don't tell us about that. How about testing it to see if it's going to strangle itself with its umbilical cord? Because I, as a baby, was strangled with my own umbilical cord when I was born. They had to unwrap it, and then I wasn't breathing right away. They had to get me breathing. Did you tell us about the risk of that? Probably, considering I had that at birth. You probably want to say our baby has a 1 in 100 chance of having an umbilical cord wrapped around his neck because I did. You know, they didn't tell us about that risk. I had to tell them that happened to me, and they're like, oh yeah, that could happen. But let's talk more about the 1 in 1 billion chance that your child has Down syndrome. You guys are so fucking corrupt. It's disgusting. You talk about ethics and how you should tell us this because it's ethical. And I'm sitting here going, okay, you are, and this is literally what they said. They said they tell us it so we could prepare. It's like, because obviously we're not going to abort our baby. Our baby's way too far along. We're attached to our baby. We can feel our baby kick. We can feel our baby like pushing and moving around. It's fucking adorable. And you know, you can't get rid of, it's a part of you at this point. There's no going back. Point of no return. So them telling us, you know, our baby has Down syndrome, we'll raise a Down syndrome baby if it's necessary. So what's the point of telling us at this point? Anything. It's ethical. Well, let's talk about ethics. Let's talk about how you guys don't tell us any risks that there's like countless risks in pregnancy that exist. You're not telling us any risks that you can't profit from. We've only been told one risk, and that is Down syndrome, because that's directly connected to your test that you make $900 from. Anyway, so I'm extremely frustrated with this whole thing. It's upsetting to me. It's extremely upsetting because I literally, and I told him this, I literally have to, like, Lainey's actually being a lot more mature and collected than I am, because I'm just angry at this point, and she's actually doing rather well. But the last time they told us about this whole Down syndrome thing, there were tears, we were really upset. It was just very depressing. And you know, and this is the funny thing, is when we talk to regular doctors, they say this is common. It's common. It's common to have light marks in the baby's belly. It's common to have kidney irregularities as far as size go. And the kidney irregularity, it's actually minute. It's not that significant. The person who's telling us that we should probably get this test done or whatever, they even said it's not that significant of a kidney difference. And this is what's funny. Lainey says to them, she goes, well, I have had a bladder infection recently. And they're like, oh, bladder has nothing to do with kidneys. It has nothing to do with baby's kidneys. It's like, really? Bladder has nothing to do with the kidneys? Really? Are you sure about that? You really wanna sit on the bench and go, I swear under oath, this is the truth. Kidneys have nothing to do with the bladder. It's just insane. Like they're not even highlighting anything positive in the ultrasound. And this is the saddest part. When you're having a baby, it's supposed to be some of the happiest moments of your life. And yet if you look up what I'm talking about online about this fucking, what is it called, the test? Amniocentosis. I know. I know I said that before, but I just forget. Amniocentosis. If you look up that test and you look up, you know, what was the thing in the stomach called?
Echogenic.
An echogenic bowel. If you look all this stuff, if you look up echogenic bowel and amniocentosis, you'll find that the doctors do this all the time. You want to know why? Because the high-risk pregnancies, and you know, pardon me saying this because it's probably totally illogical, but 1 in 1,000 chance probably isn't high risk. Because that to me sounds like really, really bad odds. High risk to me is like 1 in 4, 1 in 10, 1 in even 100 maybe is somewhat more risky than normal. You guys are just trying to get paid. You know, the high-risk specialist has to do something with their job. So what they do is they fearmonger and they fearmonger and they fearmonger, and it's fucking disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. Talking about preparing us for the idea of having a Down syndrome child, which, you know what, fucking, step up to the plate. You know, if you're this far along in the pregnancy, if you have a Down syndrome baby, don't kill them. Just have the baby, okay? Because first of all, they could be wrong. You could have a totally normal baby. But secondly, it's a real baby. It's not like, you know, a little sperm that has some fucking antlers on it. It's not yet developed. It's a baby, you know? Like, of course, I'm not the woman in the situation, so it's not my choice. But I would hope that a woman in this situation would go, you know what, I want to have the baby regardless, because I can literally feel them kicking. I can literally feel this life force. They are far along enough to interact with me. It's pretty intense. So why would you abort them? You know, it's at this point, I'm getting defensive. I'm getting upset because I don't want people fucking with my baby. And it's really disturbing to me that they would fearmonger us just for the sake of getting paid. And they do this to thousands of people. The lady who mentioned the kidneys, she said, look at this. They make pamphlets. It's so common. They make pamphlets and they hand them out regularly. Kidney abnormality is so common that they made pamphlets for it. And yet, it's something we should be worried about. And there's a 1 in 1,000 chance that our baby has Down syndrome based on this soft evidence, which isn't even credible because the first sign is completely gone. But it's like, if it's a 1 in 1,000 chance and what you're saying is wrong with our baby is incredibly common, then that probably means that there's almost no chance that they have Down syndrome, considering how many people. My point is if you're trying to prepare someone for something and you're doing more damage and preparing someone for something that isn't even real, you're just creating unnecessary fear, you're a bigger problem than you are a help. You should probably study in other areas of your career so you aren't relying on this income of fear mongering. You know, learn how to fucking, you know, be the person who does the ultrasound test. Or maybe, you know, take over that portion of it as well so you don't have this incentive to profit off people's fear. That's all I'm saying. Because it's just disgusting. If you are somebody who has gone through the same thing we're going through, hopefully this video helps you in some way not be afraid and not cry yourself to sleep every night because of how fucking insensitive these doctors are. Like, seriously. And I had the same problem with a regular doctor. I had a urinary infection, and guess what this, and I'm going to call her a bitch because that's what she is. Guess what she does? She comes in and accuses me of having an STD. She doesn't ask me if I've ever had a urinary infection before. She doesn't even fucking seem to care. She just comes in, you have a sexually transmitted disease. And I'm like, really? Because I'm pretty sure this is just like the last infection I had, which was all urinary. And you know what? All I need is the fucking pills. I don't need your opinion. Give me the antibiotics and I'll get the fuck out of your stupid bitch hair. You stupid doctor who just assumes things because you think you're a god. Anyway, I was right. Again, I was right about the blood in my baby's stomach. I was right about my urinary infection. Why is it me, a person who's barely educated in the medical field, is getting more fucking home runs than the professionals? I'm using quotes because they are not professional. They do not care about you. They care about money. Or so that's what they show when they keep recommending all these tests based on a 1 in 1,000 or 1 in 10,000 risk. There's a greater risk of killing our baby than there's a risk of the test being performed. Anyway, so that is my rant. This was very therapeutic for me. Thank you for listening, and I hope this helped you in some way. Don't freak out when you go to these ultrasounds, okay? I seriously, I'm not afraid of my baby having Down syndrome. If my baby has Down syndrome, that's just something that I'll have to accept. That's just how it is, okay? But the whole fucking fear process is pissing me off, and them profiting off of it and all this shit. And you know what she told me? She's like, well, if you don't want to go through this, you can just not come to the ultrasounds. Really? So I can't come to the ultrasound without being pumped full of fear. I can't just come to the ultrasound and have you guys go, oh, well, here's the good things. And by the way, there's a slight abnormality here, but we'll just keep an eye on it because there's such a ridiculous risk that it means anything that we're not even going to waste your time with it. It's ethical for them to tell us what is risked for our baby, right? Which is why they only told us one risk, which is less risky than many of the other things they could have informed us of. The logic is beyond me. I mean, unless, of course, I'm thinking in a greedy, soulless money lustful mentality. If I'm considering that, then there's plenty of logic. Money, money, money. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. Hope you have a wonderful day.